I don't think women can have it all. I just don't think so.
More than 2 million mothers left the labor force in 2020, according to a study by the International Labour Organization. The data further confirmed that the unequal division of care and domestic responsibilities inside the home is a strong driver of inequalities in the labour market participation. This Women's Day, we look at leaders who have advocated for a better work environment for mothers and policies which need to be adopted by companies. But before we dive into that, don't forget to share this video and subscribe to Moneycontrol's YouTube channel.
More and more, they don't tend to leave the workforce when they get married. They tend to leave their workforce for the first time when they have children. They then perhaps come back to work. They then leave the workforce typically when their children go into 9th or 10th grade because they're going into board exams and those kinds of things. And then they didn't leave the workforce when they have to look after aged parents or aged in-laws. And if we as industries, and certainly we as a tech industry, can find ways to offset those challenges, it can be very powerful. Many people in the industry are strongly encouraging women to come back after they have children.
On different stages in their lives, women have had to leave the workforce, sacrifice their careers to look after their family and children. Although women living with a partner have lower labor force participation rates than women living alone, it is largely the presence of children within a marriage or a union that drives the decline in female labor force participation. On the contrary, men tend to have high labor force participation rates regardless of the type of household they live in. But what can companies possibly do to enhance the workforce participation of mothers?
My observation, David, is that the biological clock and the career clock are in total conflict with each other. Total, complete conflict. When you have kids, you have to build your career. Just as you're rising to middle management, your kids need you because they're teenagers, they need you for the teenage years. And that's the time your husband becomes a teenager too. So he needs you. Sorry. They need you too. So what do? And as you grow even more, your parents need you because they're aging. So we're screwed. I mean, we cannot have it all. But you know what? Coping mechanisms. Train people at work. Train your family to be your extended family. You know, when I'm in PepsiCo, I travel a lot, and when my kids were tiny, especially my second one, we had strict rules on playing Nintendo. She'd call the office. She didn't care whether I was in China or Japan or India, wherever. She'd call the office. The receptionist would pick up the phone. Can I speak to my mommy? Everybody knows if somebody says, can I speak to mommy, it's my daughter. So she'd say, yes, Tara, what can I do for you? I want to play Nintendo. And the receptionist has a set of questions. Have you finished your homework, you know? You see, I say this because that's what it takes.
According to a study by the United Nations Women Organization, the first and foremost policy that companies need to implement was to provide statutory paid leave to both mothers and fathers. The study found that good working conditions for parents combined with maternity and parental leave were essential and can prompt more equal sharing of unpaid care and domestic work between women and men. And the second policy was to enable access to high quality, affordable and accessible childcare. Care services are key for mitigating the increased demand. A valuable and interesting policy that Rishad Premji suggested was to reinstate women back to work if they had resigned earlier in the same position with the same pay.
One of the things we've said is if somebody left a program before maternity, they're going to go back into the exact same program when they come back. So they almost have their seat saved for them when they come back. So it becomes an easy start.